Hi, everybody. Abby and I are together again, and we're going to chat about something we've been thinking about quite a bit and also explain what we're going to be doing in our new seminar. So go for it, Abby. What's going on with the people today?
Well, we were just talking about, I think, when the higher self or higher aspects of the soul come into the body at a deeper level, there's still a bit of confusion. It's like the wiring, the circuitry is not quite in place yet. I'm noticing it a lot in myself that it's like my body's going in one direction, my mind's going in the other direction, and I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, what am I doing? And I have to stop and catch up. And I'm spending a lot of time just sitting, just not doing and letting stuff fizz through me and bubble up through me. And it's kind of bumpy.
It
I know
is
you've been
bumpy.
having bumpy.
It's really bumpy. I did that fruit fast recently, and right after I did it, I tried to eat a normal breakfast for me, which is eggs and toast. And I got the worst sinus headache, and it lasted all day. And then I'm like, what's the problem? We don't like eggs anymore. And my body's like, nope, don't like them. So no more eggs for me. And I'm substituting like stuff. So I had a hamburger for breakfast. I had a grass-fed hamburger for breakfast. I'm like confused about what to eat. So we're going through
Oh
a
yeah.
weird process.
I made a meme the beginning of the week and sent it to my friend. She thought I actually took it off the internet because it was ridiculous, but I actually made it, which that woman crying and it says, "This is me at the beginning of the week saying I'm only going to eat fruit, and then half an hour later I eat a cookie straight out of the oven."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like going one way and going the other way, the synchrony, to have to sit and synchronize all of the parts of ourselves. It's hard to do that.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice to have a space where we can do that for other people.
It will. And we'll be doing it for ourselves at the same time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because really we're all in it together. So if you think about it, we all have this mind that's used to things going a certain way. And the biggest thing about Ascension is change.
Mm.
And we've never done this in a human body before. So this human body is like expanding and changing, and the DNA is activating, and it's a lot more activated than we're giving it credit for at this point because the mind hasn't caught up. Just like, some people are seeing things that maybe we've never seen before with their naked eye.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the mind is starting to catch up, but we don't want to break the mind. We just want to let the mind like slowly come in to its realization that things have changed and
That's
we have
funny because when
changed.
you're saying this, honey, you're wobbling the connection between us and the internet. So you're
Oh,
onto something. You're
yeah.
definitely onto something. I had a client yesterday. Just in the course of doing work with her, we invented a whole new way of doing homeopathy. It's like quantum, what did we call it? Quantum essences. It's like there's just so much there waiting to be discovered. And it's
Mhm.
it's exciting. And I think there's also a clearing out of the old. I mean, we were saying that just earlier, and that comes with grief. And I was with disappointment today, not really knowing what it's from or where to focus it, but just feeling that. So
Yeah.
just to allow these things through us.
Yeah, allow it to move through, feel it, and let go of it as fast as you can, but also honoring it as you do. So don't push it away.
Mm,
Feel it and let go and let it move through. Nature's really helpful right now. But that's, what we're going to be doing in that session is basically moving through a whole lot of stuff at once And I would say when we're done, it's a good time to really just self-care after that session. So it's going to be about the body.
Well, so I think it's about the collective's body.
Yeah,
Because when we get together and do stuff together, it really ripples outwards very strongly.
it
So
does.
anyone that's coming along is going to amplify that with us. And that's what's so exciting about doing this. Just really feel it. It's like the domino, and you know, it just spreads out and out and out. So when we break through those difficult barriers, then they're broken through. It makes it easier for everybody else. And that's why I love doing this.
Yeah, I so
So,
love it.
yeah.
We're all so powerful together too, as we come together, even though you're being healed, your vibration is also helping so many other people like move forward. Maybe they're not going to be move forward as fast as you are, but they're still, you're sending that out. So wherever you're sitting that day, like it's going to be a really big vibration that you're sending out into the universe, and to the other people that are just awakening. Like we're on the cusp of that snowball effect, like the 100 monkey theory stuff. We're right there on the cusp. And as soon as that flips, like we're on. We as a group are going to be the ones that people look at and say, oh, what happened? What's going on, you know? And you're going to have to explain it, but slowly and only in bits and pieces so that their mind can handle it.
I had a really interesting comment there on one of my YouTubes about, you know, doing the work, raising frequency, and then going back home to those people and lowering to be there. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. You know, you're living where you're living right now, even if it's uncomfortable for you. Like for me in the city, it's uncomfortable, but you're here for a reason. And it's about really the marriage of the higher energies with the body frequency. And I think that that's the center point, you know, and as we're moving up and down and the energies are shifting, it's about anchoring into our bodies more than anchoring into earth, I think. I mean, I found I haven't wanted to put down roots and go into the planet and, you know, any of that stuff. I'm just anchoring into the heart, anchoring into the body, feeling more at home here, and everything we need is right here. You know, it's like I was thinking there I needed sugar. So I closed my eyes and I visualized one of my favorite candies I used to eat as a child. And then I imagined this is like something from the movie. I imagined opening it out into all the different compartments of what was in that candy. And here's the jelly, here's the sugar, here's the apple juice. Ooh, apple juice. Maybe that's what I needed. Then sending that frequency into my body. And I felt that need just dissolving away and going, okay. And then I didn't need the candy anymore. You know, if you could do it for handbags, I'd be very happy.
I know. Yeah, you go through stages of this is my latest obsession, you know?
But I'm thinking that's what's actually happening is because
Yeah.
there's a need. There's a need for something. You don't know what it is. Your body's sending up the need. We've got the cross wires going on between the body and the brain. So the brain's trying to interpret, well, what is it I need? So if it's a substance like sugar or juice or something like that, then, you know, it's easier to translate it. And once you realize that everything is energy. And so I went on the bus into town and I had a hamburger probably around the same time you were having your breakfast hamburger, which is what's so weird about us.
Yes.
But I stood in front of all the handbags that were 3,000, 4,000 euros. And I said, well, what's in them that I need? What's the essence of 3,000 euro handbag? And then you know, and you bring that down, you go, oh, and you change how you hold yourself because now that's in you as well. You know, so it's like you can have everything you want without needing to actually go and buy it and own it and have it, because the material objects at this frequency don't have the same attraction in reality than they would have done in the 3D. In the 3D, it's all about the wanting, the needing, the getting, the having, and then, okay, it's not what I thought. Then you want something else and you need something else. So it's almost like the whole process is speeded up now.
It
But you
is.
can also be at the center of it and say, okay, you just bring down the apple juice and then you're okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're learning all of this, aren't we? We're all kind of
we
exploring.
are. We're all exploring it together, and everybody's got a little piece of it. And as you guys gather together, you're going to find that you become pieces of a puzzle for the people that you're gathered up with. And that's what I've found is it's just, and as you shed away the people or the things that you don't resonate with anymore, and it doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means maybe you don't spend as much time with
But
them
it's the same with
trying.
the food as well.
Yeah.
Needing
Food.
that cookie, and then you eat it and you go, that wasn't really what I needed. And it's like, how many
Yeah.
times do we have to do that before we realize that it isn't, you could just download the essence of cookie and then you're okay.
Yeah. It's so true. Well, and we could create it in a different way too. We can do so many different things now. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to enjoy change because we're changing and the mind is what hasn't caught up yet with the changes. And even when I talk about the universe, like we're all a spark, we all have that divine spark, but that divine spark is driving everything that's happening.
Mm.
So being able to acknowledge that you're a part of what's actually happening here gives you that power to continue to change your own reality. And that's what I want to instill in everybody and give them that mind body connection. So it gets easier and easier for the mind to know that, oh, I do have a crystalline body. How does it want me to treat it so that it's in tip top? So that I feel amazing within it. Because the
You've
mind
just,
is, the manifester too. Like that's the feelings that we're putting out or these ideas.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because let's say we have all of the years of all of the habits and we know how to comfort ourselves. We know what comforts us. And then as a disappointment, it's not working, and you keep going back to it and the need to be comforted. But it's about creating those new ways to do it, because the body's different, and what used to comfort us isn't going to do that anymore. And it's actually really exciting, but there's still the sadness around it. It's like looking at a really old teddy bear and knowing that it's about to fall apart and there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. But the
Yeah,
next thing is going to be much better for us.
it will. And just knowing that we're safe and we can have that cozy, wonderful feeling wherever we go, as long as we choose that. Like we really don't need to worry about, like, when you're a kid and you're just so happy and you've got your hot cocoa and you're like sitting on the bench and it's all cushions and everything just feels fabulous. That's what I want to go through life like most of the time, and have my adventures too. Like it's basically like going back to the wonder of being a child, the wonderment, you know
Yeah,
so
but it's also that feeling that knowing mom and dad is home and nothing bad is going to happen when they're home.
yeah.
And when you realize that that's not the case as you're growing up, and then you have all of your coping mechanisms which establish to make up for that. And now we're the moms and dads, and we have to hold ourselves in that way, and that can be tiring and exhausting. So what's nice for people, I think, is when we get together, it's not that we're mom and dad, but we hold that space for
Mhm.
other people to put down everything that they're carrying and to say, okay, well, how can we do it better? And you know what else is really great is learning how to do it differently together and comparing notes.
Yeah, exactly. When you and I do things together, there's always something that morphs slightly and we learn something that makes it stronger. And that's the beauty of community and sharing. And that's what we're moving into. So I'm really excited about it, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
great.
all this exploring that we're doing. And the healers are on deck right now. Like or maybe I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, we're at the plate. We're ready to hit the ball and we're there to help. And this way we can help, so many at once. And it also brings all that energy in there together. So you guys are becoming more and more powerful.
Yeah,
And
when you say they're on deck,
yeah,
I've noticed as well a lot more illness, a lot more, it's like for those of us that have done the work, these changes are exciting and interesting and difficult and disappointing and upsetting and there's grief, but we're moving through it, we're talking about it, we're getting there. But we've been doing our work for a long time. And if it's this difficult for us, just imagine how difficult it is for people who wouldn't even know who we were, wouldn't even know anything about the kind of work we're doing. And I think there'll be a wave of them waking up and needing people to help them. And so those people who are the healers for them need to feel that they've got support as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is why I do what I do anyway, so that we can support each other as we're supporting each other.
exactly. Because a lot of the people that are going to be in that with us are going to be the healers that really come forward pretty soon. And it's going to be beautiful to watch. I think that's one thing that we need to remember too, is like, we're going to be in this wave of healers, and that's going to be what it's all about, is healing the human psyche, the human body, all of that, and being abundant. All of that is coming in, and we're going to be in this like wave of, it's great right now, and then there'll be a little dip, and then it'll be great again, and we're just releasing. Every time we dip, then we pop up again and we release more to make it better and better. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a sea otter.
I know, it's really interesting times we're in, isn't it?
It is. And I never imagined that Ascension would be this way. Like, I definitely had a more third dimensional idea of it. Like, oh, the RV is going to come in. We'll all just make great, projects and do all this kind of stuff. But it never really went all that much further. But over the last like 18 months, it's like all this information is coming in and you realize what Ascension actually is. And it's about consciousness, and that we create what we see, and actually believing that, not just saying it.
And there's a fine tuning now I'm seeing as well when incidents happen, like as they call it in the movie of life, that it's how you react to that, how you respond to that, when you're seeing all the growth that's happened when people have decided, okay, I'm going to step up in my own life and take the reins and become the master of my life, because I'm tired of waiting for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And and there seems to be a floppiness into the ridiculous for some of the things that have been coming up, and my social media feeds, and when I'm dipping in and getting the temperature of the world, even the temperature maps are like, how ridiculous can you get when they're saying it's burning hot and it's terrible and it's a normal summer's day? That there's a level of people who are saying now, who wouldn't have seen it before, saying this isn't true, this isn't right. So this is the evolution of the consciousness. And yeah, I'm really feeling though, what we do need to be doing is focusing on our health, on our well-being, on knowing who we are now, so that we can really begin to create, like you say, the creative spark coming in to create what we need to build
And
this
creating
world.
our own little world, because once we do that, then we can move outward more. But it really does start with you. It starts here. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is every person who does their work is like this crystal that just lights up, and they all connect with each other all around the world and lift the consciousness of the whole world. It's just beautiful.
It is. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Everything to me is like it's getting better and better every day, even when we go through a dip. Like I know we're going to come out of it. Like the dip right now is like loneliness, seems to be loneliness. So a lot of people are not really connecting that well with some of the people that maybe that's not going to be their group in the future. So we're in this lull of shedding to make room for the next group of people that will come into your life. And that's been hard for people because it feels sad and lonely and you're letting go of stuff. And that stuff will work through as well in that. But it's just a really beautiful time. And we've come so far. Like we're really getting there.
And just because there's a misunderstanding, say, between you and someone else, it doesn't mean you're losing them necessarily. It could just be a clearing out of miscommunication so that you come together with that person on a more authentic level. And, you know, you can still be friends with people and not be completely vibrating at the same frequency, for want of a better word. But there's a messiness that has clouded the authenticity in relationships that's clearing. And when that goes, it's like a cloud and you can see that person properly for the first time. And it's like you can say, I'm still choosing to have you in my life, but I'm reorganizing where you fit in. It's not going to fit the same way, but I still want you in it. And that can be, you know, interesting to see people more clearly, but also very good for you to realize, because it's, you know, it's about packaging. Someone said to me one time, you don't have to reveal everything of yourself to everybody. You can package yourself in different ways and you're still you underneath there. And so that way you're more conscious of what you're doing instead of wearing these masks and playing out these roles that you would have done subconsciously. Now we make it conscious, and you can keep your authenticity at the same time.
Yeah.
So
And just letting go of being somebody like trying to fit into their box so that you can be okay in the relationship. Like it's being your true self versus how do I mold myself to make it work?
yeah, that's a bit scary, isn't it? It's like taking a risk and saying, well, this is me and I'm not going to compromise for you. So if you don't like me, then tough. And, you know, it's been difficult for people to do that. But I like it.
It's important. It's really important. And that's sovereignty. You know, so that's the reorganization that we're going through. And it's beautiful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
come and find your divinity with us, your divine spark. We're
Let
going to
us
put the
hold
link
space for
below.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just going to help, I think, people step into who they are and not be worried about it. You know, we don't need to be worried about what other people think. And we don't need to be worried about how do we act around people, or, you know, how do we create this or that? We want to allow it to come in and to be who we are. That's why we came, is to be ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as well, the beauty of how Honey and I work is you're not just getting one healing session with us, because you get the replay. And then if you watch it 4 times over 4 weeks, that's like 4 healing sessions that you
Yeah,
get,
it's
because
massive.
the layers unwind and unwind. And as I'm feeling into the group that's going to be there, there's a lot of people out there who are weighed down by heaviness. There's stuckness in the chest. They're not being able to hear their guides is something that's been coming up. And something that was really interesting that came up for me this week was people, again, grounding in different ways, in ways that are holding them back. So there'll be an unraveling maybe of some of the old ways of doing things. As a group, then feeling that safety of the space that's being held for you, you can try new things and see what works for you. That's different and new. Yeah.
It is so different. It's amazing, really, right now. And that's part of the change. And think of it as an adventure.
Well, I don't see it as as the end game, to use a phrase. I don't think that we're doing this now, and this is the way we end up doing it is going to be the way we do it. I see it as a stepping stone to let go of the old, so that we're kind of more able to move up again and move up again, maybe 3 or 4 times
Yeah,
before we actually stabilize and plateau off for a while.
I think so
You know,
too. I mean, if you think about it, 10 years from now, the things that we do and the things that our mind will be able to comprehend are going to be so like we can't even see them right now. They're not even visible. So we're in the process right
I
now.
was just thinking of telepathy, and I was wondering who had the hamburger first today? Was it you or me?
I don't know, but I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat a hamburger for breakfast because I don't know what to eat because I can't eat eggs anymore.
Yeah, so what is it? Because I thought, oh, hamburger, and I was on the bus going into town saying I could have any food I wanted, and it was still the hamburger. So that's like telepathy. Do you know?
Mhm.
As we see how we're communicating in the future, we could just be really having fun with this now, and
Yeah,
learning how to communicate about it and finding the language, but doing it in a light and playful way is important.
it is. It's important. I mean, really, we're in control of our lives, so why not have fun? Why not have some fun? Liven it up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, so hope to see you there.
we do. We hope to see you there. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.